Do narcissists intentionally cause harm? It's a very, very complicated question. I want to attempt to answer it. I'm Dr. David Hawkins, director of the Marriage Recovery Center and the Emotional Abuse Institute, and I've done a number of videos recently on the topic of narcissism versus emotional abuse. And just a quick recap, folks. Narcissism is a condition marked by lack of empathy, marked by seeking admiration, marked by inflated sense of self-importance, and so on. And so subsequently, does emotional abuse, which is a behavior, does it occur? Yes. So narcissists are inclined to be emotionally abusive, but not all emotional abusers. Remember, emotional abuse is a preoccupation with one's own needs and desires at the expense of others. All right, narcissism is a condition. It can actually even be a psychological diagnosis if it reaches the point of NPD. Emotional abuse is a behavior or a set of behaviors: powering over, dominating, pervasive defensiveness. And so the topic of intentionality, narcissism and intentionality. I've spoken at length about this issue. And so if someone is predominantly emotionally immature, if someone is predominantly self-protective, they blame shift, they power over, they play the victim, they minimize, they justify, they rationalize, they do all of those things to protect themselves. If they have an underlying attitude of arrogance, if they lack empathy because they are so self-preoccupied, then it certainly would appear that they are intentionally causing harm. But does a 6-year-old intentionally cause harm? I've said that. I want us to think this through. Does a 6-year-old intentionally cause harm? Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. That harm is a byproduct of their emotional immaturity. So they're not intentionally causing harm, but they're not intentionally not causing harm. So you can see that this is a very complicated topic. Again, as a byproduct of this pervasive emotional immaturity, this pervasive self-centeredness, they're going to cause harm. They are going to cause harm. And as a means of a lack of dedication to change, if they're not dedicated to really growing up and changing and becoming healthier individuals, then they're going to cause harm. And in that regard, it becomes intentionality. In that regard, it becomes intentionality. Oh, I know. So you may be thinking, wait a minute, I've told him again and again and again that I don't like him doing certain things, and he does them again and again and again. Isn't that intentionality? Well, yes and no. Yes, this individual should be taking you into consideration. They should be carrying around your concern on their frontal lobes. But if they're a 6-year-old, does that mean we let them off the hook? No, we don't let them off the hook, but we see things in a more complicated and complex manner. We see that this is emotional immaturity, is pervasive self-protection. It is an underlying attitude of arrogance. It is lacking empathy, and it's lacking a dedication to change. So the path forward has got to be very, very complicated, very strenuous, very arduous, and treatment is complicated and needs to be issue-specific treatment. So you've told this person again and again Please stop interrupting me. Please stop talking over me. Please stop uh, spending the way you're spending, acting out the way please stop it. It hurts me. And they don't stop it. Is there intentionality to that? Yes and no. Again, are they waking up in the morning and intending to harm you? No, probably not. But they are not waking up in the morning being very, very clear about ways not to harm you, ways that they need to grow up, ways that they need to change. So again, I hope this is helpful. I hope this helps you think through the topic of intentionality. Are many of these narcissistic and emotionally abusive individuals setting out to harm you? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Are they setting out to not harm you? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. The picture is very, very complicated, and the treatment protocol is very complicated as well. That's why we at the Marriage Recovery Center and the Emotional Abuse Institute, we have a year-long treatment program for men who have been and are emotionally abusive and narcissistic. And we have a considerable program for women who have been harmed and need considerable treatment to help overcome the harm that they have endured. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Click on the link to subscribe to future videos. And if we can be helpful to you in determining a good and healthy path forward, please let us know. Our client care team is ready to take your call. Click on the link to subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.